Assalamu alaikum. Today we will start our new topic of orbit. I am Dr. Usma Hamza. We will complete the diseases of orbit in inshallah 2 lectures, and for this today is the first lecture. The learning object of this lecture is to recognize the signs of orbital diseases and to correlate the anatomical knowledge with clinical pathologies. As you know from your knowledge of anatomy, orbit is a pyramidal in shape with an apex and base. It has four walls, a medial, lateral wall, roof and floor. Roof is consist of lesser wing of sphenoid and frontal bone, while the lateral wall is the consists of greater wing of sphenoid and zygomatic bone, while the medial wall as consists of maxillary, lacrimal, ethmoidal, and sphenoidal bone. And floor has zygomatic, maxillary, and palatine bone. In the floor, there is posteromedial part of the floor is the thinnest part of the floor, which can undergo traumatic floor rupture. Orbit has close topographical relations with sinuses and also linked with the interior of skull through optic canal, superior orbital fissure. So orbital diseases can extend into paranasal sinuses and in the brain and vice versa. As you know, is a pear-shaped cavity and stalk of this pear is in the optic canal. The intraorbital portion of the optic nerve is longer, which is 25 centimeter, than the distance between the back of the globe and the optic canal, which is 18 millimeter. So there is a difference of 7 millimeter. And this difference, the longer optic nerve, this allows significant forward displacement of the globe without stretching of the optic nerve. You see this picture, as I have said, that the distance between the back of the globe and the optic canal is 18 millimeter, while optic nerve from here to optic canal is 25 millimeter. So there is a difference of 7 millimeter, and this allows significant forward displacement of the globe without stretching the optic nerve. Optic nerve जो है लंबी है as compared to the distance. जो बोनी कैनाल जो है उसकी डिस्टेंस से लंबी है 7 millimeter. So it can stretch without damage to the optic nerve up till 7 millimeter. This is your MCQ question. Now, what are the contents of the orbit? Obviously, it consists of the eyeball, orbital fat, connective tissue, tenon capsule, blood vessels, nerves, and extraocular muscles. Now, there are certain signs of orbital diseases. You must know that. If you see the right eye, there is periorbital and lid edema. And this is chemosis. These are few new terminology for you. Chemosis is the conjunctival edema. You can see here, this is conjunctival chemosis, this balloon-like reddish inferiorly from 3 to 9 o'clock. This ballooning conjunctiva is conjunctival edema, which is called chemosis. This is proptosis. Right eye is proptose. Proptosis is another terminology, new terminology for you. Proptosis is abnormal forward protrusion of the eyeball. And this is enophthalmos, exactly opposite to the proptosis. It is the recession of the globe within the orbit. अगर आप देखें in the left eye अंदर को recess हुई हुई है. So this is called enophthalmos. So one word is proptosis, for abnormal forward protrusion of eyeball, and other is enophthalmos, which is the recession of the globe within the orbit. So enophthalmos could be congenital, it could be traumatic, or you can see enophthalmos after the atrophy of the orbit fat in old age. And you can also see enophthalmos after atrophy of orbital contents secondary to radiotherapy. And in the you can see in the left eye, this is orbital floor fracture, which causing the enophthalmos of the left eye. Now, other signs of the orbital diseases, the ptosis. Eyelid can be drooped. In hypertelorism, you can see in this picture, there is wide separation of the orbit. This is determined by measuring the interpupillary distance. The interpupillary distance is wide, usually widely spaced orbit, and this is called hypertelorism. And this is dystopia. This is displacement of the globe in coronal plane. You can see the left eye is in the normal position while the right eye is displaced downward. And this is due to extracorneal mass. Restrictive myopathy due to orbital diseases, there could be restrictive movement of extraocular muscle. If you see in this upper picture, patient is looking toward the right side, but the right eye is not abducting at all. So there is restriction of abduction in the right eye. And if you see in the lower picture, patient is looking toward the left side and the left eye is not abducting. So there could be the restrictive myopathy in orbital diseases. Then this is the optic disc edema. When when there's pressure within the optic nerve, there could be the optic disc edema. And later on, optic nerve could be atrophic, and it is seen just like in a chalky white optic nerve head. Now, there are certain investigations you should to rule out the optic orbital diseases. First of all, from the history, we assess the visual acuity, we assess the color vision of the patient, we assess the visual field, we check the pupil reaction, we do the extraocular movement, and we also measure the intraocular pressure, and we also measure the proptosis. The other investigations are optic nerve examination, retinal examination, which is called fundoscopy, B-scan, X-ray of traumatic bony injury. We can do the CT scan to see the bony structure and space occupying lesion. We can have MRI to see the orbital apex lesion, intracranial extension, or orbital inflammatory diseases. And finally, the fine needle biopsy in suspected cases of neoplasm. So in orbital diseases, we had number of investigation we can do to rule out the and to differentiate certain orbital diseases. So the most important disease we will discuss in our lecture today is the proptosis. As you know, proptosis is the abnormal protrusion of eyeball. Basically, there are mainly two causes of proptosis. One is the retrobulbar mass. If there is a mass behind the eyeball, it will push the eyeball forward. Or there could be a shallow orbit. If orbit globe is of normal size, but orbit is a shallow, then it will push the eyeball forward. So proptosis is the abnormal protrusion of the eyeball, mainly two reasons. या तो eyeball के पीछे कोई mass है जो उसको आगे को push कर रहा है, या आई बॉल नॉर्मल साइज का है लेकिन ऑर्बिट जो है आपके शैलो हैं, जिसकी वजह से आई बॉल पूरा उसमें फिट नहीं आ रहा और बाहर को proptose हुआ हुआ है. So proptosis basically is the abnormal protrusion of eyeball. Two reasons: retrobulbar lesion or shallow orbit. You can see a comparison, do the comparison of the both eye. The right eye is proptose. You are seeing from the front of the patient, and in this picture you are seeing from back side of the patient, from the head side of the patient. So it could be a proptosis, could be unilateral or could be bilateral. This is a unilateral proptosis, and in this one is, you will see this is a bilateral proptosis. Now the direction of proptosis, it indicates the possible pathology of proptosis. So direction is determined either it's a pathology is intracorneal or extracorneal. So what is intracorneal? We will see that eyeball having 4 recti, superior, inferior, medial, and rectal recti, and superior and inferior oblique muscle. And these all muscle, these forming a cone around the eyeball. You see, this is the eyeball, और इसके इर्द गिर्द ये cone बनाई हुई है इन सारे muscles ने. So if a lesion is within this cone, muscle के अंदर ये cone जो बनी हुई है, इसके अंदर कोई lesion होगा, retroorbital lesion होगा, तो वो it will cause the axial proptosis. लेकिन if a mass is outside this cone, extracorneal mass hoga, then the proptosis will be non-axial. So the direction of proptosis is determined by either there is an intracorneal mass. If there is an intracorneal mass, there will be axial proptosis, while in extracorneal mass there will be non-axial proptosis. Now this is then axial proptosis, and this is non-axial proptosis. This एक्स्ट्राकोर्नल मैस जो सुप्रोनेजली इसको प्रेस कर रहा है और आई बॉल जो है डाउनवर्ड और इंफीरियरली डिस्प्लेस हो गए. Similarly, these are example of non-axial proptosis. Now, the severity of proptosis is measured either with a plastic ruler or with an instrument which is called Hertel exophthalmometer. This is your MCQ question. In this picture, you can see we are measuring the proptosis with the help of simple plastic ruler, and this is Hertel exophthalmometer, which is an instrument which is used to measure the proptosis. Now, the severity of proptosis is determined by reading if there is a reading is more than 20 millimeters. If you measure from the temporal margin of the orbit to the corneal apex, if reading is greater than 20 millimeters, then it is called its proptose, or there is a difference of 2 millimeters between two eyes. Suppose if one eye have 21 millimeter of proptosis and other have 23 millimeter of proptosis, it means the other eye with the 23 millimeter of proptosis is having proptose. So the reading greater than 20 millimeter or the difference of 2 millimeter between two eyes. We can classify the proptosis mild, moderate, severity according to the reading. Mild proptosis if readings are between 21 to 23 millimeter, moderate if 24 to 27 millimeter, and severe proptosis if reading are 28 or more. Now, there are different causes of proptosis. First of all is endocrine orbitopathy, second infective, third inflammatory, vascular lesion, cystic lesion, and tumors can cause proptosis. Today, we will cover the endocrine orbitopathy and infective lesion. The most important endocrinal orbitopathy is the thyroid eye disease, and today we will discuss the different pathophysiology, clinical signs, and treatment modalities of thyroid eye disease. Now, thyroid eye disease is also called thyroid associated orbitopathy. It is also called Graves' disease. Most common, it is cause of adult bilateral or unilateral proptosis. This is again your MCQ question. Adult male, most common cause of proptosis is thyroid eye disease, and thyroid eye disease could be bilateral or unilateral. It is an autoimmune disease and affect the third to fourth decade. It can present before, with, or after hypothyroidism. Females are more prone for thyroid eye disease, 5:1 ratio. Cigarette smoking is the strongest modifying risk factor. Myasthenia gravis is 50 times more common in thyroid eye disease. The word exophthalmos is also used for proptosis secondary to thyroid eye disease. So the word exophthalmos is used, it means there's a thyroid eye disease related proptosis, but not related to any proptosis which is not of thyroid eye disease. अगर thyroid eye disease से related proptosis है तो उसको exophthalmos हम कहते हैं. लेकिन अगर ये proptosis किसी और वजह से है, like due to infection, due to inflammation, due to some tumor, then it will be not exophthalmos. So exophthalmos is the proptosis word used for proptosis secondary to thyroid eye disease. Now there are pathogenesis of thyroid eye disease. There's an organ-specific autoimmune reaction. Again, your MCQ question. Antibodies react against thyroid gland or orbital fibroblast, which causing the inflammation of extraocular muscles, interstitial tissues, orbital fat, and lacrimal gland. And what happened with the inflammation? There will be pleomorphic cellular infiltration in the muscles, orbital fat, which causing the increased secretion of glycosamine glycone, and which causes the osmotic emission of water. And with the increase, it causes the increased orbital content, increased size of the muscles, which causes the increased orbital pressure. So ये autoimmune disease है जिसमें pleomorphic cellular infiltration हो जाएगी, उसकी वजह से glycosamine glycone secrete organs में ज्यादा होगा, thyroid muscles में, orbital muscles में और interstitial tissue fat में जब ग्लाइकोसामिन ग्लाइकोन ज्यादा होगा तो वो वाटर को इम्बाइब करेगा, तो जो ऑर्बिटल कंटेंट का साइज है वो बड़ा हो जाएगा. एज यू सी फ्रॉम दिस पिक्चर, ऑर्बिटल साइज जो है वो डबल से ट्रिपल साइज की हो जाएगा. तो साइज बड़ा होगा तो आई बॉल को पीछे से पुश करेगा और आई बॉल आगे को प्रोपोज हो जाएगी, एंड देयर विल बी इंक्रीज ऑर्बिटल प्रेशर आल्सो. सो नॉर्मल आई अगर देखें इस तरह है, और ऑर्बिटल थायराइड आई डिजीज में आपके एक्स्ट्राओकुलर मसल्स का साइज बड़ा हो गया, ऑर्बिटल फैट का साइज बड़ा हो गया, इंटरस्टिशियल टिश्यू का साइज बड़ा हो गया, उन सारे साइज जब बड़े हो गए तो उसने आई बॉल को आगे को पुश कर दिया. So the clinical manifestation of clinical signs are lid retraction, soft tissue involvement, proptosis, restrictive eye movement, and optic nerve compression, which is called optic neuropathy. So in lid retraction normally क्या होता है कि आपकी अपर लिड अगर देखिए राइट आई को, अपर लिड जो है नॉर्मली रेस्ट करती है 2 मिलीमीटर बिलो द लिम्बस, लेकिन in lid retraction if you see the upper limbus it means lid is retracted. So left eye is lid retraction. This is a sign of thyroid eye disease. The other signs of thyroid eye disease, the Cocker sign. This is your interactive questions हैं जो कि आपको वाइवा में पूछे जाते हैं. What is Cocker sign? It is a threatening appearance of marked on attentive fixation. So this is Cocker sign. डार्लिम साइन क्या है? लिड रिट्रैक्शन इन प्राइमरी गेज. अगर राइट आई में देखो तो आपकी लिड इस पेशेंट की रिट्रैक्टेड है. लेफ्ट आई जो है उसमें अपर लिम्बस आपको नजर नहीं आ रहा. अपर लिम्बस इज कवर्ड बाय 2 मिलीमीटर फ्रॉम द अपर लिड, लेकिन राइट आई जो है उसमें अपर लिम्बस नजर आ रहा है. देयर इज लिड रिट्रैक्शन इन प्राइमरी गेज व्हिच इज कॉल्ड डार्लिम साइन. दिस इज द वॉन ग्राफी साइन. पेशेंट को कहा है कि नीचे देखें, लेफ्ट आर्म को देखें. देयर इज रिटार्डेड डिसेंट ऑफ द अपर लिड इन डाउन गेज. ये वाली आई राइट आई में आईलिड में ग्लोब को फॉलो किया है, लेकिन लेफ्ट आर्म में आईलिड जो है वो रिटार्ड किया है, उसने नीचे ग्लोब के साथ नहीं गया. और यू कैन सी द सक्लेरा इन द स्पीरल लिम्बस. सो दिस इज कॉल्ड वॉन ग्राफी साइंस. Now, in the soft tissue involvement, there could be periorbital lid edema in thyroid eye disease में. There could be epibulbar hyperemia. ये hyperemia जो होगा which will be more marked in the on the insertion of medial or lateral recti. Horizontal recti की जो insertion है वहाँ पे ज्यादा mark होगा hyperemia. Conjunctival chemosis होगी and there will be dry eyes. And the important sign of thyroid eye disease, the proptosis, जो कि axial होगा, unilateral होगा, bilateral भी हो सकता है. It could be symmetrical or asymmetrical, and even severe proptosis can result. अगर proptosis ज्यादा होगा, patient आई अपनी blink नहीं कर सकता है, तो then there will be chances of exposure keratopathy, cornea expose हो जाएगा, dry हो जाएगा, and there is chances of corneal thinning and corneal perforation. This is asymmetrical proptosis, right or left में. Restrictive myopathy, ऐसे due to inflammation of extraocular muscles, और वहाँ पे साइज एक्स्ट्राओकुलर मसल्स का बड़ा हो जाएगा acute stages में, but later on आई मसल्स जो होंगे वो फाइब्रोज्ड हो जाएंगे. So there will be restrictive myopathy. इसमें पेशेंट में देखें, पेशेंट इज लुकिंग टुवर्ड द राइट साइड, तो राइट आई जो है वो abduct नहीं हो रही completely. So there will be restrictive myopathy in this case due to a restriction of the lateral rectus muscle. And due to increased size of the orbital content, there will be pressure on the optic nerve will cause the optic nerve damage. This is called optic neuropathy, and we can identify the optic neuropathy by the certain sign. Patient will have impaired vision, distant or near. There will be relative afferent pupil defect होगा. Color desaturation, color को recognize नहीं कर सकेगा. Patient को अगर light दिखाएंगे, there will be decreased light brightness appreciation. There will be visual field defect. और अगर ऑप्टिक नर्व को हम ऑप्थेल्मोस्कोप से देखेंगे, there will be optic disc edema. It could be swollen or optic disc will be atrophic. Now, what will be the investigations? They could be, we will start with the thyroid function test. Thyroid autoantibodies check करेंगे, orbital imaging करेंगे, CT scan, we'll do the CT scan, MRI, which is we'll do and go for better soft tissue details. We will field analysis करेंगे, उसका Hess screen test. You must know all these tests. In the CT scan, what we will see, due to increased size of the extraocular muscles, there is the enlarged, you will see the enlarged size of extra muscles, but the tendon will be spared. अगर देखें तो इसमें मसल जो साइज उसका बड़ा हुआ है, लेकिन टेंडन जो है उसका साइज बड़ा नहीं है. दिस इज कॉल्ड कोकोकोला साइन. और ये आपको ऑस्पी में ये पिक्चर आ जाती है. You have to tell what is the diagnosis of in this patient with proptosis of this eye with enlarged muscle, but the tendon are sparing. Now, how will you treat? General measurements: stop smoking, maintain euthyroidism. We will treat if the patient having hyperthyroidism. For the symptomatic relief, we will give the patient lubricating eye drops. Ask the patient to do the head elevation, eyelid tapping at the time of night, and reassurance. And in the case management, we have medical or surgical management. In the medical management, we will start with the systemic steroid, and we will give systemic steroid the 60 to 80 milligram per day. And within 48 hours, there is a reduction in chemosis and reduction in periorbital edema. Then we will start dose tapering. Maximum response will be seen in the 2 to 8 weeks, and we will discontinue the oral steroid within after 3 months. So in first medical management, systemic steroid जो कि 60 to 80 milligram per day से देंगे, 48 hours के बाद उसकी डोज रिड्यूस कर देंगे, मैक्सिमम 3 months के लिए दे सकते हैं. But if you see the optic nerve compression with the decrease visual acuity, pupil reaction में relative pupil defect है, color desaturation, and then we can start IV steroid. It is reserved for the compressive optic neuropathy. और IV steroid हम 0.5 gram in 200 ml isotonic cell line over 30 minutes पे देते हैं, which is must be supervised by the physician for the potential risk, cardiovascular risk, to prevent any risk of the cardiovascular region. So it must be supervised by the physician. So other medical modality treatments are immunomodulating drugs. We can use the immunomodulating drugs instead of steroid, like azathioprine, methotrexate, cyclosporin, or IV immunoglobulins. There is a limited a treatment option for the radiotherapy. Also, radiotherapy can be given adjunctive to steroid when there is steroids are contraindicated or ineffective. In the surgical decompression, it is done either as a primary treatment when there is as a primary treatment when there is signs of optic nerve compression, or when the non-invasive methods are ineffective. And these surgical decompression are done either by external or through endoscopic approach. We remove portions of the orbital bone, and we can done with the 1 bone, 2 bone, or 3 bone decompression. उसके pieces bones के remove कर देते हैं. So अगर if we remove the pieces of lateral wall posteriorly, it will accommodate, give the space of 3 to 6 millimeter. In medial wall, it will give the space of 4 to 7 millimeter. In the portion of the orbital roof, it will relieve the pressure of the globe for about 5 to 9 millimeters. So first of all, conservative management, then there is medical management with the oral steroid. If there is a signs of optic nerve compression, we can straight away go for IV steroid, or we can go for surgical decompression. So these are the result of surgical decompression before this surgical decompression, and this is a patient with after the surgical decompression, when they have sufficient room for the replacement, retropulpal replacement of the globe. So patient is relieved pressure from optic nerve and from the globe, and there is a very much symptomatic relief to the patient. So this is an MCQ. Proptosis is made with tonometer, exophthalmometer, biometer, keratometer, and all above. Definitely answer is B with exophthalmometer. Another MCQ, clinical signs of orbital diseases are all except proptosis, aphakia, hypertelorism, dystopia, and restricted ocular motility. And the answer is B, which is aphakia. Aphakia is not a sign of orbital diseases. Aphakia is the absence of normal crystalline lens, while other all answers are related to the signs of orbital diseases. Now, our second topic is infective causes of orbital diseases. First of all, I will discuss the orbital septum. What is orbital septum? It's a layer of fascia which is extending vertically from periosteum of orbital rim to the levator aponeurosis of the upper lid and tarsal plate of the lower lid. Why it is important to discuss the orbital septum? Because if infection is lie anterior to the orbital septum, then it is called preorbital cellulitis. And if infection extend beyond this orbital septum, then it is called orbital cellulitis. So preseptal cellulitis जो है, it will be could be secondary to skin trauma, local infection or remote infection, while orbital cellulitis most likely bacterial होता है. और orbital cellulitis is always present with decrease in visual acuity and proptosis, while preseptal cellulitis जो है, there will be no proptosis and no decrease in vision, but there will be periorbital lid edema. So the orbital cellulitis is an infection beyond the orbital septum. It's a life-threatening condition. It can occur at any age. Most commonly it is seen in children, and causative organism is Staph pneumoniae, Staph aureus, Staph pyogenes, and Haemophilus influenzae. This is your MCQ question. Now the pathogenesis of orbital cellulitis, it could be sinus related, most commonly ethmoidal sinus. Ethmoidal sinus का infection होगा, it can extend into the orbit, or if orbital cellulitis could be the extension of the preseptal cellulitis. अगर orbital septum के सामने infection है, जो there is more likely chances कि वो posteriorly extend करे और convert हो जाए into orbital cellulitis. Or orbital cellulitis can be extend from local spread, like अगर डेक्रोसिस्टाइटिस है, facial और dental infection या maxillary sinusitis से होगा. Hematogenic spread भी हो सकती है. Post traumatic and post surgical causes of orbital cellulitis is also seen. Now presentation कैसे होगी? Severe malaise, fever, pain और visual impairment. Vision patient की decrease होगी. Unilateral tender or red periorbital edema will be seen, and patient will have proptosis. और पेनफुल ऑप्थेल्मोप्लेजिया, पेशेंट जब आई मूव करेगा तो उसको पेन होगी, और ऑप्टिक नर्व डिस्फंक्शंस के सारे साइन मिलेंगे. सो पेशेंट में पेन, फीवर, मेथार्जी, डिक्रीज विजन होगी, प्रोप्टोसिस होगी, पेरीऑर्बिटल लिड एडिमा होगा, पेनफुल आई मूवमेंट होगी in orbital cellulitis. So in this picture you can see the left eye have completely proptosed. There is periorbital and lid edema with complete ptosis. In this picture, you can see this child present with rapidly progressive proptosis with pain, redness, and chemosis in the right eye. He has high-grade fever and loss of vision in the right eye. You will ask what is the diagnosis, and this could be your OSPE question. The answer is what is the diagnosis? The answer is the orbital cellulitis. So the complication of orbital cellulitis, ocular complication, there could be exposure keratopathy. अगर proptosis ज़्यादा होगा, eye बंद नहीं होगी, cornea thin out हो जाएगा, there will be exposure keratopathy, corneal ulcer और corneal perforation हो सकती है, high intraocular pressure हो सकता है, central retinal artery occlusion, central retinal vein occlusion हो सकती है due to orbital cellulitis, endophthalmitis, and there is chances of optic neuropathy, optic nerve compression के साथ optic atrophy हो सकती है. The other complications, intracranial complication, meningitis, brain abscess हो सकता है, venous sinus thrombosis हो सकता है, subperiosteal abscess हो सकता है, और orbital abscess हो सकता है. These are your SCQ questions. What are the complications of orbital cellulitis? So you will categorize into ocular and extraocular complication, or ocular or cranial complications. So next is the investigation. You will do the WBC count, blood culture, send blood culture. You go for the CT of the orbital, paranasal sinuses, and brain. You will do the lumbar puncture if meningeal or cerebral signs are present. So this is the axial CT scan of the right eye, show retrobulbar inflammatory mass, which is pushing the eyeball forward and causing the proptosis. What is the treatment? First of all, the hospital admission is mandatory. You will start broad spectrum antibody to cover gram-positive, gram-negative, and anaerobe. You will give antibiotics, IV ceftazidime, 500 milligram 8 hourly, vancomycin, and along with that, to cover the anaerobes, you will give the flagyl, and you will monitor the optic nerve functions. And surgical intervention is required when there is no response to IV antibody, broad spectrum antibody, and there is decreased vision, and if there is orbital or subperiosteal abscess, and there is atypical picture, you will go for the surgical intervention. And surgical intervention include the drainage of suborbital or subperiosteal abscess drainage. Now, a third is the mucormycosis, one type of fungal infection. It's a rare opportunistic infection which is caused by fungi. It affected patient with diabetic ketoacidosis and immunocompromised patient. It's an aggressive infection acquired by inhalation of spore in upper respiratory tract infection and spread to other sinuses and brain and orbit. So this is the infective causes of the orbit proptosis. So today we have discussed about the orbital diseases. What are the signs of orbital diseases? We have seen there are periorbital edema, chemosis, proptosis, hypertelorism, anophthalmos. These are the signs of orbital diseases, and the most important orbital sign of the orbital disease is the proptosis, and we know the proptosis is abnormal forward protrusion of the eyeball. And it could be the basically two reasons of proptosis. One is the shallow orbit, and second could be the retrobulbar mass. Proptosis में the most important causes जो adult में देखा जाता है, it is due to thyroid eye disease. और thyroid eye disease में हमने देखा is an autoimmune disease जिसमें एंटीबॉडीज बन जाती हैं एक्सोक्युलर मसल के अगेंस्ट, एंड थायराइड ग्लैंड जो है उसके अगेंस्ट एंटीबॉडीज बनती हैं. इन्फ्लेमेटरी रिएक्शन होता है. इन्फ्लेमेटरी रिएक्शन की वजह से देयर इज इंक्रीज क्रिएशन ऑफ प्लियोमार्फिक cellular infiltration, there is increased creation of glycosamine glycone, imbibition of water, और सारे जो स्ट्रक्चर्स है उनका साइज बड़ा हो जाता है. साइज बड़ा होने की वजह से it will push the eyeball forward. और इसके अलावा there will be soft tissue signs हैं, signs of proptosis जो हैं. उसके अलावा dry eyes हो सकती हैं. periorbital hyperemia है जो कि आपके रेक्टाइल मसल के इंसर्शन पे ज्यादा हो सकता है. एंड देयर कुड बी रिस्ट्रिक्टिव मायोपैथी, एक्सट्राओकुलर मूवमेंट की मूवमेंट है वो रिस्ट्रिक्ट हो जाएंगी. देयर कुड बी ऑप्टिक नर्व कंप्रेशन. और ऑप्टिक नर्व कंप्रेशन का हमें कैसे पता चलेगा? हम उस पेशेंट की विजन देखेंगे, कम हो जाएगी, कलर विजन नहीं होगी, उसके प्यूपल रिएक्शन में रिलेटिव एफरेंट प्यूपल डिफेक्ट हो जाएगा. हम उसको डायरेक्टली ऑप्थेल्मोस्कोप से देखेंगे तो ऑप्टिक नर्व जो है या तो स्वोलन नजर आएगी या फिर पेल नजर आएगी. ट्रीटमेंट में हमने देखा we will start with the symptomatic treatment. अगर mild है we will only give patient lubricant देंगे. पेशेंट को कहेंगे कि हेड अपना रेस रखे रात को सोते हुए. अगर आई बॉल जो है उसको टेप लगा दे ताकि कॉर्निया एक्सपोज ना हो. अगर प्रोप्टोसिस माइल्ड मॉडरेट है और causing the pain, then we will give the oral steroid 60 to 80 मिलीग्राम पर डे से शुरू करेंगे. लेकिन अगर पेशेंट को ऑप्टिक नर्व कंप्रेशन के साइंस हैं then we will give the IV steroid. IV steroid के अलावा we can go directly to the surgical decompression. और surgical decompression के साथ rapid there is decreased pressure of the intraorbital contents. और this is the treatment of thyroid eye disease. इसके बाद हमने orbital infections में देखा orbital cellulitis. What is the difference of orbital cellulitis and preseptal cellulitis? अगर infection जो है orbital septum के interior है then it is preseptal cellulitis. अगर इसके posterior है then it is orbital cellulitis. और इस life threatening condition बच्चों में ज्यादा हो जाती है. Patient present with malaise, fever, proptosis and decreased vision. आप immediately उसे admit करेंगे. पेशेंट की इन्वेस्टिगेशन भेजेंगे, WBC काउंट, उसका ब्लड प्रेशर भेजेंगे, CT स्कैन भेजेंगे. मीनवाइल आप उसको ब्रॉड स्पेक्ट्रम एंटीबायोटिक शुरू करेंगे. उसमें वी विल गिव द पॉजिटिव नेगेटिव और एनारोब्स को कवर करेंगे. और उसकी ऑप्टिक नर्व देखने के लिए डीकम्प्रेस के डेली उसका विजुअल एक्टिविटी मॉनिटर करेंगे. मेडिकल ट्रीटमेंट फेल देन वी विल गिव द surgical intervention. And mucormycosis is the type of infection जो कि fungi है, caused by fungi, और जो immunocompromised patients में हो जाता है. It can also cause the proptosis. So that's all about the thyroid eye disease and proptosis caused by orbital cellulitis and mucormycosis. Now, any question?
Assalamu alaikum, ma'am. Ma'am, can you please repeat what is chemosis?
जी, chemosis is beta. Chemosis is basically is edema of conjunctiva. आपका जो bulbar conjunctiva है, bulbar conjunctiva का जो edema होगा, bulbar conjunctiva का edema को chemosis कहते हैं. मैं अपनी स्क्रीन दोबारा आपके साथ शेयर कर रही हूँ और आपको तस्वीर भी दोबारा दिखाती हूँ. सो इज एडीमा ऑफ बल्बर कंजक्टिवा। आप देखेंगे बैलून शेप आपको ये नजर आएगा, इज कॉल्ड कीमोसिस। ये किसी भी कंडीशन में हो सकता है, इट कुड बी एलर्जिक इन्फेक्टिव में भी हो सकता है, एलर्जिक कंजक्टिवाइटिस में भी, इन्फेक्टिव कंजक्टिवाइटिस में भी हो सकता है, लेकिन इट्स वन ऑफ द साइन ऑफ थायराइड आई डिसीज। जी, ये मैं पिक्चर आपके साथ शेयर करती हूँ। जी, दिस इज कीमोसिस। ठीक है, मैं आप देखें कंजक्टिवल एडीमा हुआ है, जरूरी नहीं कि ड्यू टू थायराइड।
left of your lecture.
जी, एनी क्वेश्चन?
Ma'am, please explain lid retraction.
जी, लिड रिट्रैक्शन अगर आप देखें तो नॉर्मली जो अपर आई लिड होती है वो 2 मिलीमीटर कवर करती है अपर लिम्बस को, लेकिन अगर अपर लिम्बस जो है इट इज एक्सपोज, जैसे इस साइड में देखें अपर लिम्बस आपको नजर आ रहा है, इट मींस इट इज लिड रिट्रैक्शन। नॉर्मली अपर लिम्बस आपको नजर नहीं आता, क्योंकि नॉर्मली अपर लिड जो है वो अपर 2 मिलीमीटर ऑफ कॉर्निया को कवर करती है, अगर नहीं कवर करती देन इट इज लिड रिट्रैक्शन।
Thank you so much, ma'am. That's it.
एनी अदर क्वेश्चन?
No, ma'am.
ओके, थैंक यू।